Welcome to this next video in this series of how-to videos for the SpiralsRPG system. In this video we're going to look at combat. Now, alongside the dice pool mechanic, which I covered in the last video for resolving skill checks, Spirals uses an innovative new method for combat and initiative that we like to call beats. The main crux of the beat system is that a nimble, stabby, rogue type character with a dagger should get to attack more frequently than a muscle-bound brute swinging a heavy greatsword. That just makes sense to us. To represent this, every character has something called a base beat. You define this during character creation. Everyone starts at 3, and you can tickle that value up or down using your character creation points. The weapon you take will also affect your beat. Super heavy, high damage output weapon will have a beat of 3. A medium weapon 2, a light weapon such as the aforementioned dagger would have 1. Combine this with your character's base beat to get your total beat value. The higher the beat value, the slower you are to attack. The lower the beat value, the quicker you are to attack. Let's create a scenario with 2 protagonist characters against a monstrous foe. Protagonist 1 will be our nimble stabmonger with their friend, the muscle-bound bringer of haymakers. They're fighting a black dog, which is a monster from the Red Oaks game Punklings. The stabmonger's got a base beat of 1 due to spending points to reduce it, and a dagger, which also has a base beat of 1. This character now has a total beat value of 2. That's very, very good. The brute has a base beat of 3, having not spent points, they've put it all in strength. Of course they have. And they've got a heavy greatsword, which also has a beat of 3. Their beat total is 6. The black dog has a total beat of 4, somewhere in between those 2 characters. They have a base beat of 2, and they have a bite attack, which is a medium weapon, and that gives them a +2 to their beat as well. In order to run a Spirals combat, you need to track rounds. In each round, determine who, if anyone, gets to act in that round. During a round, everyone acts simultaneously, so you resolve all the actions regardless of the consequences. So if someone dies during a round or runs away during a round, they still make their attacks. You still resolve all of that. Let's see how this works in principle. In round 1, nobody's going to act because nobody's got a beat of 1, a total beat of 1. In round 2, though, we are going to see some action because the stabmonger is going to attack on round 2 because remember they've got a base beat of 1 and +1 for the dagger, so they're acting in every second round. In this round, they're going to attack the black dog because it's the only foe. They're going to roll their pool of dice. For the stabmonger, they're rolling 2d10 for their strength, plus a d12 for the dagger. And remember, we're adding in the 2 d6 key dice that match the strength. You do not get a key dice for your weapon. You only get the key dice for your attribute. So our dice pool here is 2d10, 1d12, 2d6. And if you've watched the skill checks video, you know that what we're looking for is combinations of 7. In this case, they're going to roll their dice pool and they are going to get a couple of successes. We can make 2 7s from that pool of dice there. Now the black dog's got choices to make. They can defend actively. You can only defend actively once during your beat cycle. So for the black dog, they can defend actively every 4 beats because that's their beat total. For the brute, he's going to be every 6 beats, so he has to choose when to defend. If you've got armor, you can passively defend. To passively defend, you roll 1 dice. The dice for your armor, if you get a 1, that's a success. So the stabmonger's got 2 successes. The black dog's going to make its defensive roll. Because it's actively defending, it's rolling 2d12 for strength because it's facing a strength weapon. If it was facing a dexterity weapon, a missile weapon, it would roll a dex save. It's rolling its 2d12 plus the 2d6 key dice, 1d12 for the armor, so we've got a dice pool of 3d12 and 2d6. As you can see here, it does not make any successes. This is a bad time for the black dog, so the black dog is going to have to make some spirit rolls. Now, spirit rolls represent your will to stay in the fight. Every creature has a set amount of spirit. A black dog has 6 spirit to start with. That means he rolls a d6. He's got to get below, not equal to, below his current spirit total. Yep, that's a pass. But he's got to make 2 spirit rolls here. That's also a pass. But every time you make a spirit roll, your current total decreases. So the black dog started on 6, made a spirit roll, then we need to get below 5. Now the second spirit roll, we're on 4. So the next time, he's got to get 3 or less on a d6 to stay in the fight. Now we're on round 3. In round 3, no one's going to go. No one has a beat of 3 or a beat which is a denomination of 3. So round 4 though is where it starts to get really tasty, because the stabby guy is going to attack, as is the black dog. I'm going to roll for the black dog first. Doesn't matter which order we do it in, because we're going to see how it all works out, and we're going to resolve everything before the end of the round. So the black dog's rolling 1d10 for his strength, plus the d6 key dice, 1d12 for his bite, and he does not get any successes, which means the stabby guy does not have to defend. Stabby guy's now going to make his attack on the black dog, attacking for the second time because he's so nimble and he's got a light weapon. Here he gets 2 more successes. He's rolling really well. The black dog can make an active defense because the previous active defense was in that first 4. So now we've started a new set of beats for him because we're on beat 4. He is going to make that active defense. He's got 1 success, that's good for him because he's only going to have to make 1 spirit roll. If he had to make 2 spirit rolls, I think this is probably the end of the combat. And he has succeeded on the spirit roll there. He lives to fight another day, or at least another round. Speaking of another round, we're in round 5. Once again, no one is going on round 5. Round 6, we finally see the brute start to get into the action. I'm going to let Stabby go first here. Stabby's no successes for once. The dice have given up on him. No need for the black dog to defend. He can't defend anyway because he's used his active defense for this beat cycle. And now it's time for the brute to attack. Here the brute is rolling with 2d6 plus 2d6 key dice plus a d8 for his greatsword. He's got 2 successes here. Now the black dog cannot defend. He can only passively defend. He's going to make an armor roll on his armor, which is a d12 passive defense. He needs a 1. So a 1 in a passive defense is the only way it works. He doesn't get it. There we go. Which means that he fails. He now needs to make a spirit roll. He's failed that spirit roll, as you can see, because he's rolled above his current spirit total, which means the black dog has now fled the fight and the combat is resolved. If you want to add magic into your Spirals games, then it does alter the way the beat system works, because different spells impact the beat system differently. But we'll cover that more in a forthcoming video. The beat system itself, along with the dice pool mechanic, might seem a little bit alien to people that are used to playing D20 games, which track combat using standard initiative, but we really like the more dynamic, fast-moving pace of Spirals combat. Like with any game though, the best way of understanding how a mechanic works is to get out there and roll some dice.